Hello, and welcome to Appleton Engaged. I'm your host, Timber Smith, DEI coordinator for the city of Appleton. And Appleton Engaged is a podcast that explores the many people, organizations, and resources that make our community a great place to live, work, and play. So whether you're a longtime resident or just getting to know Appleton, join us as we learn more about our community together. Hello, Appleton Engaged listeners. How are we doing today? Hopefully awesome. And if not, it's about to get awesome because we have an amazing resource this week and fantastic guests to tell us about this resource. So I'm super excited. I want to make sure I send a little shout out to my missing partner in crime, Andy Anam. Andy had some other things to do, so you are stuck with just Timber this week. But I promise, we'll make it good. All right. I am very excited to talk about this particular resource, particularly because it affects our youth, and I've seen the good that it has done. It's effective, it's purposeful, and it has impact, and it makes our community a better place. That's all you can ask for from an amazing resource. So this week's guest is Dennetra Williams, STAR Director of the STAR program at the Boys and Girls Club of the Fox Valley, and Boachie, STAR Coordinator for Wilson and Magellan Middle School's STAR program, Boys and Girls Club of the Fox Valley. Hello, you two. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Doing
Thanks
good.
for asking.
All right. I didn't mess up anybody's name, though. Uh-oh. Can you give us the correct enunciation? My apologies.
Boachie.
Boachie. Okay. I am sorry, and I kind of knew that I might have messed that up, and that's why I thought I would clear it up. But thank you for the clarification. Now, you ready to jump in?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your association with Appleton and the Fox Cities region? And Bright, can we start with you?
Yeah. So, grew up in Chicago. Came up here for college at St. Norbert College. Right after that, started getting into working with youth at Raw High Youth Services for like 3 years, left. And then I had the opportunity, heard about STAR just by learning about it, made the decision to apply for the position as it was open, and so far it's been a great experience just connecting with the youth at the middle school and even at the high school level and just talking to them, learning about their stories and just helping them any way that I can.
Dennetra?
Man, the history of Appleton for me it runs kind of deep. I've been here since 2009. So our daughter was created, born and raised here. So been here for a minute. She'll be in high school next year. Half-time North, half-time Renaissance. My connection to the community is wanting to show up. You know, there's a number of initiatives and local things that I'm a part of, various different groups. I think it's really important to give back into your community. You can't be one of those folks who sit on your rump complaining about what is or isn't happening, but you're not doing anything to affect change in your neighborhood or your local community.
Facts.
So for me, being a part of committees, doing some board work, advisory council work, all those pieces play into it, just so that you can have a voice and a seat at the table. As far as my roots in Appleton, I would say even though I wasn't born and raised here, because I'm born and raised in California, note that. But even though I wasn't born and raised here, my roots do run deep. I have a strong affinity for Appleton. I definitely prefer Wisconsin over California. So for those who are going to, oh, no, not California. Yes, I do. I would not trade my life here to be back there for anything. I love the way Wisconsin, and more specifically the Fox Cities, and more specifically Appleton, shows up for its community. You know, you always have a sense of, we got you here, and I appreciate that. If there is a gap that needs to be filled, somebody, some organization, some folks, some group, some collective will come together and find a way to remedy those barriers that people are facing. That's kind of how STAR was birthed too. So
That is so true. Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because we're going to roll right into, can you please tell us about your resource now?
Absolutely. So, STAR is an acronym for Scholars on Target to Achieve Results, and we work specifically with students who identify as Black, African American, or of mixed race with one of those racial identity markers to close the opportunity gap at both the middle and the high schools in the Appleton Area School District. So, STAR is at its root, we're just really about making sure our kids get the support that they need, making sure they get seen. It's case management based, so we sit down with them one-on-one, figure out what barriers they're facing and how we can help them overcome them. Sometimes it's academic, and that's just a matter of connecting them to a tutor. Sometimes it's academic, and it's just a matter of advocating on their behalf with their educator. Sometimes it's behavioral, and there are other things at play as to why they're not going to class or coming to school overall. And so it's just a matter of listening, making sure they're being heard, and trying to co-create solutions for them to improve their outcomes. Ultimately, with the goal of making sure they graduate on time in 4 years and have some post-secondary plans set up that will make them a productive member in society, whether that's here in Appleton, we would hope, or somewhere else. There's actually a couple of STAR coordinators that used to be supported by me or STAR at some point in their life that are on the team right now. So,
so full circle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very much so.
How long, and I don't know if I missed it, but how long has the program been in existence as a whole? Because you're one of the original people of the STAR program, if I am correct.
That is correct. I was actually the first hire. STAR was birthed from a 2015 CHAT, which is Community Health Action Team. Shout out to Theta Care. They're the ones who sponsor that.
Big shout out to Theta Care.
For sure. And African Heritage Inc. And there's a number of local partners on that particular chat, but they just really wanted to come together and better understand some of the adversities that African Americans were facing at that time. And then we had our very first day starting to support and do the work February 1st, 2018. So we've been around for a minute. It took a number of minutes to get it going, but here we are, still going strong today. Last year, we actually graduated 100% of our STAR scholars. So translation, if your kid is in STAR in high school, they likely to graduate.
That's highly impressive.
100%.
So Bright, as a new member or a newer member of the team, what have you seen?
So I've seen a lot of the, things that I learned that got me to, apply for that. I seen all in effect with how like we show up for the kids in the schools, the impact that we have, just us being in the schools in general, right? It creates a sense of like belonging for the kids where we able to give them space for them to like be themselves in the schools. For the most part, somebody familiar that they can go to that look like them in the schools that they can go to. And I think that's like the huge thing, right?
Yes.
In education, I mean, we all can agree in the schools, like there's not a lot of people that look like us that's in the schools. So when the kids sees us, they automatically like gravitate towards us, and we becomes that person for them in the school who kind of help them navigate through all the challenges and just them learning in general.
Most definitely, and I can see how that could easily happen because there's gonna be some shared experience, and they know that they can talk to you about certain things that you're actually gonna understand, some of the challenges they might be facing. Yeah, that's just powerful to have that connection and those resources, those mentors inside of our academic spaces.
I'll actually add to that, to your point, to both of your points. In addition to what you all have offered, it's also powerful to see yourself and other people in your building. Having someone that you can go to, yes, because they understand, but that, how can I say it? You can sympathize with another human as another human, but having that cultural piece once you layer in the intersectionality of that, it greatly impacts how we're able to bond with kids in other ways that other folks cannot in the building, which increases and improves their outcomes and their interest in coming to school. Many kids will say, I only come because of STAR. We're trying to reshape that narrative. We want them to come for the education, but it just goes to show how strong that bond is that's created.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. The big thing is we probably just need them to show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Facts. Yes.
We just need them to show. Okay. So what does that look like? What does STAR also do? Because I think I've seen STAR maybe take students on some type of field trips sometimes, or I've seen you show up at different things that are for students, and I'm not necessarily understanding all the time, but I'm assuming kind of chaperoning. What does STAR all do in the functions of STAR?
There's a variety of things. It's yes, and yes.
Okay.
All that you said. I mean, yes, we are a resource connector. We're also a resource creator. The whole intention and purpose is to introduce them and expose them to various different pathways that they can consider and have to choose from when thinking about their future and what comes next for them after high school. So yes, as we see field trips taking place in the district that the district is sponsoring, we will definitely connect our students to those opportunities as well as create ones. I'm thinking of, when you ask what all do we do, I'm thinking of field trips that we did to like Titletown. You know, there's an academic piece, and we do the college tours and talk about career path options too, but we also want to expose them to like the outdoors, you know, having an opportunity to go play in the snow. Experience with Titletown in Green Bay, that was an opportunity for them to play some Winter Olympic Games with actual Winter Olympic athletes, you know, and having that exposure to, what is the luge? What does that entail?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know.
Right.
No.
and so many of our kids didn't either, but they learned when they went on the field trip, you know. And so I know also we partnered with Building for Kids in February as well to have our middle schoolers have an opportunity to connect with Dasha Kelly, whom phenomenal poet, you know, taught them how to write poetry. Perfect timing with what they happened to be working on in the school buildings. They were working on a poetry unit, so it was just like a perfect marrying of two different resources. It's just truly multifaceted.
Yeah, I would probably say that's been my favorite field trip that we've taken so far, because I learned a lot from that, just being there, and then watching the kids do it. I realized how bad I was at writing poetry, because they're very creative, and you know, I had to actually I saved some of the things that they wrote to have it in my office, just to kind of have it there.
So what schools are you located in? Is it every middle school and high school, or certain ones? And if so, how is that done?
The quickest way to answer that, I like to say, is the Appleton Area School District public middle and high schools. So you have your east, west, north. For the high schools, you have your Wilson Magellan, which is where Bright's from, Madison, KA, and Einstein.
How many students are you currently serving?
306 when I looked at the dashboard. Each coordinator is responsible for 40 students. So about 306 now.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you to keep doing the math. How many STAR coordinators? let's finish the equation.
Okay, go ahead.
How many STAR coordinators does that make on the team? How big is the team?
In total, with me included, we're a team of 10. But in terms of who's doing the actual case management, youth-facing work, that would be 9 STAR coordinators. So since you want to hit me with some math, that would be 360 kids that we could potentially support in a year.
Hey, I just want the math.
Hey, I know how to make the math. You know I used to be an accountant.
See? Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, well, at this time, could you both please share a story with the Appleton Engaged listeners that'll help them understand the impact of the STAR program?
I'll go first on this one. So like most of the kids that I inherited was already, part of the program, but some of the new ones that I had a youth scholar that had recently moved to Appleton from a different state. So she joined she joined Star, and I had like a conversation with her and like trying to figure out what about Star that that she appreciated and all that stuff. Like we had a conversation about that, and one of the things she mentioned was it gave her an opportunity to meet other kids that look like her, and just hearing that that to me that was kind of what's most important, because right, our whole goal, we want to get them to be successful, like right scholars, but also get them involved in the community as well. So what, like she's saying that to me, and I think that was kind of powerful, just hearing that. Once again, right, the schools is very different, right, for a kid who just moved out here not knowing anybody, having that opportunity, being part of a group, to like create a sense of belonging in the school itself, which also leads to a better attendance, to say the least. But I thought that was probably my favorite story so far, and there's more, but I'm gonna just
You gonna let that be?
I'm gonna let that be. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a tough one. Having been here from day one, having seen the success year after year, quarter after quarter, semester after semester, day to day, I'm thinking, so many thoughts came to mind when you asked the question. I'm like, gosh, I'm thinking about things that I've seen other adults say that aren't being supported by STAR. I'm thinking of things that I've heard admin say in buildings and educators say. I'm thinking of the things that the caregivers say. What do our parents say about the support of STAR and the efficacy? I'm thinking about my own personal lived experience in the program. My daughter's in STAR, and having been in multiple roles in STAR, the things that I have seen, the things that have brought me to tears, sometimes of joy, sometimes of sadness. I think the one thing that touches me the most is when I have people reach out to me from other school districts and say, we heard about what you're doing over there. I wish we had something like that here. Can you help me with?
Facts.
I think through the years, I have done some parent consultations many times. I won't put any school districts out there like that and say what districts they were from, but we can say that I would dare say almost every school district in the Fox Cities, there's been a parent to reach out, and I've supported them with some challenging things that they were facing with their student. And so I think that just speaks to the success of the program when other people know who you are that aren't even here, not even being supported by you, but word has gotten out, that you're doing some great work, and how can I tap into that, or how can I duplicate that? So I think that's something that typically moves me faster. Well, it all moves me, but that's one thing that really came to mind.
When do you typically meet with the students? What does that look like?
So it's throughout the day during the school day. We try to meet with students. At max, it's like we do one-on-one meetings. For the most, it will probably be twice a month, maybe more, depending on the kid, and also attendance if they're in school or not, right? But we meet with kids during the school day. Sometimes we might put them from a class if there's something we need to discuss with them, and we set up meetings with them so they know, for the most part, what days we're meeting. And personally, I try to put the responsibility on them a little bit to like know, okay, so we set up a schedule to meet here. It's on you to show up now, right? Just a little accountability on that end of it. But yeah, sometimes, like, depending on the kid, like I try to avoid meeting with students in a class that they're struggling, right? Because obviously you're struggling, then you need to be in there, right? It's simple as that. Lunchtime is a huge one.
So let me just clarify real quick. Just so STAR is actually placed in the schools.
Yes.
This is not actually happening at the Boys and Girls Club, or it's happening also at the Boys and Girls Club, or what does that look like? Because I do think that's something like I would want to know.
Right. Absolutely. It does happen at the school. So every STAR coordinator, all 9, have a space, a designated STAR space in each building. That is just for them to have that time to meet with those kids on those one-on-one basis. In the summer, when school is not in session, we have greater flexibility, and then we will often work from the Boys and Girls Club, working with the Teen Center, because we support teens, middle and high school, to offer various different programs, clinics, things of that nature, where then more kids can access our team. But for the most part, their work is done during the school day, which is the whole 40 hours of their work.
And how does a student, or actually, because I'm going to assume I'm going to have a few more parents on here than I am students listening, how does one get signed up?
They can absolutely, if they have a student that is eligible for STAR in their school building, they can go to that particular STAR coordinator for that school building. If they're uncertain, they can absolutely reach out to me directly at the Boys and Girls Club, and then I can connect them to who would be the best person. I feel like almost all team members have some vacancy on their caseloads to be able to accept new students if that is a desire. And I'm glad that you said, how can a parent get in touch? Because it does require parent permission. Students can't come in and self-select to be a part of STAR, nor is it automatic.
Are there any upcoming initiatives, events, or engagement opportunities?
Quite a few, actually.
So right now we planning graduation celebrations for our seniors, our graduating seniors at the high school level, and also I believe it's like the first time we planning something for the 8th graders moving on to the high school level as well, right? Just to celebrate all the things that they've achieved over the years through the STAR program and just, for themselves. This summer, with collaboration with the Boys and Girls Club, can you remind me of her name?
Mary Leet.
Yes. Shout out to her for bringing this to our attention. But we will be doing a mental health group over the summer starting in June. It will be 2 days a week, 1 day for the high school level, the other one for the middle schools, right? And we just talking about, mental health topics, trying to just give them the tools and like the resources, how to handle certain things as they come up. And then we also have a trip coming up that's also funded through the Boys and Girls Club to DC. And we are fortunate to bring, I think, 20 scholars with us to the trip, right? We get to visit, see, kind of walk around, check out all the historical places in DC, give the kids opportunity just to learn about, all the stuff in there. I'm excited to go. It's going to be my first time going to DC, and I know some of the kids are as well. So very looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's all those and still some more yet. We actually just came back from a field trip a few days ago to EAA, which was really nice. A Black pilot took the time to fly in just to meet with our kids.
Oh,
so,
wow.
I know, right? I was really excited for that. And so there was various different stations where they can do things and explore the field of aviation, which was some great exposure. I think we took almost like 40 kids to that, so that was pretty awesome. We're also in the middle of planning a field trip to the planetarium. Again, as I mentioned earlier, you brought it up about field trips and things of nature. You see us everywhere. How you get there? This is how. We have a field trip committee, a STAR field trip committee that brings ideas to the team, and then we work together to execute said ideas to connect kids to these opportunities. We were working on one. I won't say the name because it didn't pan out, but we were working on an to connect them to the optical field. Did you know that you can go into the optical field without a degree?
I was an optician.
Get out of here. Are you just saying that for the sake of this conversation?
Nope. That is what I did in the military.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
So then that means you did know that already.
Yes.
Okay. Well, seeing as how I was not an obstetrician, I did not know that. And so I thought that would be a great way to connect kids to a career path that would help sustain their lifestyle, but they may not be interested in going to college, So we were trying to partner with a particular optical field department, however you frame that, company, to get a tour and things of that nature. We weren't able to make that work, but they are now going to come into the school to expose the kids to the field still.
That's awesome.
I know, I'm really excited for that. We're also looking to go to the Chicago Classics. We want to try to get over there so they can do that HBCU college tour thing. That will be in September. And we've also been partnering with last year and this year, Inclusion in the Outdoor. Kyle Armstrong, yeah.
Yes,
That's,
shout out to
that's
Kyle.
my boy, for sure. That's my boy. I serve on that advisory council. But we are looking to take kids on a boat tour with River Time as well as Appleton Waste. So we have some things that we're working on that are upcoming for the summer because STAR is not a school year program. It is all year round. And we want to keep them engaged when school's not in session. Great opportunity for us to build up that bond and rapport with our kids when school's not in session and not have the weight of talking about, well, you got this F, or why you keep ditching, but just to, I won't say have fun because there's learning opportunities too. Oh, and we're also going to do a tour of UWO. So those are some things that are upcoming for us.
I'm excited that you're going to introduce the career of making glasses.
I know, me too.
Like the people don't understand. It's cool to put on the lab coat.
Yes.
That's what I will say. Is there anything the community can do to be helpful?
The first thing that comes to mind for me, this is going to sound so scripted, but go to our website and look at our wish list and donate, find ways to give back. When you see us, ask questions about what we do, how we do. If you have questions, instead of formulating your own perspective that may misalign with our actual mission, just ask. We're happy to share the success of our program, how it works, why we do what we do, how we came to exist, how we can collaborate with whomever is asking the question to improve the outcomes of whatever kid that they might be asking the questions about. Just take the time to stay engaged and learn more.
I see what you did there.
Did you catch that?
I see what you did there. Okay. Who can people contact if they would like to learn more?
They can contact me directly, by all means. Dennetra Williams, Boys and Girls Club, STAR Director. Look me up.
Not hard to find.
Not hard to find.
Okay. We will make sure, Appleton Engaged listeners, that we do put the contact details in the podcast notes. One last question. Is there any additional information you feel is important to share with the Appleton Engaged listeners that we didn't ask a question about?
I would just say that for those who are in the school buildings, to just know that we are not here to attempt to replace or substitute anything that they have going on. We're just here to co-support and understanding that the more that we can work with our kids, the better they'll be in your classrooms. Ideally, grades will go up, attendance will go up. It's just we're here to find out how we can support you to assist with your classroom management. And we're just here to collaborate, work together. Ultimately, we're all in it for the same goal, for the success of that kid. So how can we come together to make it happen? I'm not saying that because people aren't doing that. We are. Let's keep doing that. That's the point.
Okay.
I second that.
You second that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? It's the real important time of the show, and that's called shout outs.
Hey.
Who do you have to shout out?
I have to shout out my colleagues. Courtney, that's at James Madison and Einstein, Kayla at Kaleidoscope, Breon at East, Chris at East, Malika and Deja at West High School, and then Deontay and JJ at North High School. And then obviously I would like to shout out my school, Wilson and Magellan, and the admin over there for welcoming me into the building, being so supportive and helping me do the best job that I can, support those kids.
He stole half of my shout-outs. I'm going to have to say I absolutely have to shout out my own senior director, Kayla McNamara, my own CEO, Greg, And then I have to shout out the school district. Without them carving out space for us to be there, we couldn't be able to do our work. So I am definitely eternally grateful for that. I also have to shout out many of those funders who came together to acknowledge that there was a problem in 2015 that created STAR. I already mentioned it earlier, but I got to do it again. Shout out to Theta Care, African Heritage Inc., the Boys and Girls Club, Appleton Area School District, Lawrence, the Tech, St. Norbert, the list goes on. I felt United Way, can't forget them. I really appreciate all the effort that goes into making STAR a success. I also have to shout out in the Boys and Girls Club, our RD department. They're the ones who, secure grants and things of that nature. This is a nonprofit organization. The key word is we can't do it without the profit. So shout out to RD team who always comes to me with grants. Hey, Dennetra, I found this. Emily, that's you. I found this grant that I think STAR would be great for. What do you think? They're always thinking reflectively about how we can advance the program, and I appreciate that.
Okay. Y'all came with the shout-outs, and it is appreciated. And at this time, I want to say thank you for spending time with us. We're going to start wrapping up this episode. Appleton Engaged listeners, thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for giving us your minds and ears. Thank you for caring about another amazing resource in this great city of Appleton, making this place a better place. But, we here at Appleton Engage are trying to become the #1 podcast in Northeast Wisconsin, but we can't do it alone. We need your help. What does that look like? Well, a couple of things I need you to do. A, if you have any recommendations on what we can do to improve this particular podcast here, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Also, if you would like to be a guest or if you would like to recommend a guest, and that is actually how this episode came to be, from a recommendation, you can reach us at diversity@appleton.org. Once again, that is diversity@appleton.org. Also, on our way to becoming the top podcast in Northeast Wisconsin, we also think we have something very special here, and we want to get in front of more eyes and ears here in Appleton and the surrounding Fox Cities region, and the only way we can do that is with your help through analytics. So while you're listening to this particular episode, take a moment and hit the subscribe button, and if you got a few more minutes, go ahead and fill out a review and let us know how we're doing. These things increase our analytics, and the better our analytics, the more people within our region learn about this amazing podcast known as Appleton Engaged. Once again, I want to thank Bright and Dennetra for giving us time here today, telling us about the amazing things that the STAR program is doing. It is truly creating impact. Once again, if you didn't hear it earlier, they said this past class has 100% graduation rate for those students who are in the STAR program. And I can't think of anything more impressive than showing it how it's done. That says it all. So until next time, stay thoughtful, stay curious, and stay engaged.